I hope you guys are doing well today. Happy Thursday. So today I wanted to talk to you guys about the one journaling trick to stop emotional eating. So if you are an emotional eater, you will want to stick around today. So if you're watching live with me this morning, please say hello. If you're watching on the replay, then just hashtag replay and I'll make sure I come back on later and say hi to you then. And so for those of you who don't know me, my name is Martina Wall. I am a self-love coach and I empower women to accept and respect their bodies at any size through my proven method that is disrupting diet culture. So I'm going to bring up my video to make sure I can see you guys popping in. And yeah, so emotional eating is a big thing for a lot of people, right? We are emotional beings and we eat emotionally from time to time. So here is a trick that's going to help you to stop this habit. So I see Yesli in here. She says, good morning, afternoon. I guess it is afternoon for you over there. So I'm actually doing a training on this within my Self-Love Revolution community today, but I wanted to give you guys a really brief insight into how journaling can be a really powerful tool to help us with our emotional eating. So a couple things before we get started. If you guys are not already in my community, I have a free community here on Facebook where it's called Self-Love at Any Size, and it just empowers women to accept and respect their bodies. And it's a really safe and empowering community to help you through your journey. And we're here to support you because our self-love journeys there's not a destination, it is a journey. And so that is why we have this community. So the link to join the group is in the description of this video, and we would love to have you in there. And then secondly, if you guys are watching this on Facebook, if you can head on over to YouTube when this video is done and then hit the subscribe button and the bell on my channel to receive notifications for each time that I come live. And there is over 200 videos in there all about things to do with self-love, self-acceptance, body image, yoga, all these awesome things that we do to help ourselves just show up as the best versions of ourselves and gain that confidence. So let's get into our little chat today. So when we are talking about emotional eating and journaling, there are a couple things that start to come up. And so what I want to explain to you guys is the benefits of journaling for emotional eating. And then I'm going to reveal to you guys this one journaling trick that can help you to stop emotional eating for good. So let's go over some benefits first. So the benefits of journaling for emotional eating is that it aids in processing emotion. So when you become aware of your emotions and write them down in a journal, it allows that intensity of the emotion to release from your body and onto the paper. So it kind of takes that heavy emotion that you're feeling within your body and kind of puts it into paper. And then something I always tell everyone as well is when we are writing things down on paper, that actually accesses a different part of our brain, our rational brain. When we are just thinking these thoughts, that's the emotional part of our brain that we're accessing. And that is how we have those urges or those, things that we do that we just kind of impulsively do without really thinking about it. One of those things being emotional eating. So when we can write these things down, you actually start to access the rational part of the brain, which helps you to really think about the emotion and kind of release it, right? And then secondly, it kind of inserts a pause. And so with intuitive eating, which is the method that I teach, you're really intentional with your feelings and your emotions and your eating and your hunger and your fullness. There's all these different aspects that we look at. But when we are journaling our emotions, it kind of inserts that pause. It allows you to take that moment to reflect and create that awareness. So with intuitive eating, oftentimes it's encouraged to pause before you make a decision around food, and it gives you that awareness and that reflection, right? So that is the second reason why journaling with our emotional eating is really important. And then thirdly, it provides clarity. So when you guys feel like confused or uncertain about your feelings, because sometimes it's sometimes hard to identify the feeling. As we write them down, it can kind of help you to tap into that inner wisdom or your intuition, and it can help you to kind of make better sense of things. So with those 3 benefits that we have described, we really start to, your curiosity may be piqued and you'd be like, well, what's my next step? What is something that I can do to help with this problem that I have, right? With emotional eating. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to give you guys this one trick that can help you stop emotional eating for good. It's simple, but it works like a charm. And so here's what you do. And so first of all, every time that you feel the urge to eat emotionally, write down what's going on for you. Just taking that moment to pause, right? Like we've already described. So if you have that urge, like if something, if you are bored, if you are lonely, if you are sad, if you are angry, any emotion can really cause or kind of put into motion that emotional eating. And so when you kind of feel that, you can kind of tell within your body of like, hey, I know this eating that I'm going to be doing right now is emotional. So I'm going to take a moment to write down what's going on for me. So secondly, you'll write down how you're feeling, what caused that emotion, and what kind of food that you're craving. So just taking a moment to pause and think about it, right? And then after writing everything down, try to find a way to address the underlying issue. So for example, if you are feeling bored and you've written it down of like, I'm bored because there's not really much to do and I've done all the things I wanted to do today, and I'm just sitting in front of the TV, and I want popcorn, right? Or I want, I don't know, what else, chips or ice cream, whatever you're craving. As you address that issue of like, hey, I'm bored and I feel like that's why I'm eating right now. I'm not necessarily hungry, because that's a part of the process that we work on too, is really addressing your hunger and your fullness and scaling that, but really trying to address the underlying issue. So if the underlying issue is that you are bored, then maybe you need to find something to do, or maybe you need to, move your body around a while, or like, and I'm not saying that this is always going to be the answer, because sometimes emotional eating, sometimes you do need to eat. Sometimes that is really what you need to cope or to feel better or whatever it is. Sometimes that will be food, and that's okay. But it's just kind of breaking the cycle of food being the only coping strategy that you have, right? And so with that, like we've already kind of described, if possible, we want to try and find that different way to deal with your emotions instead of turning to food. So having that list of things that you can create for yourself on, if I am bored, these are the things I could do. Or if I am sad, these are the things I could do. One of those things can be food, absolutely, but it's like everything, like our self-care practices, our self-love journeys, the more tools that we have access to, the more healthier ways we're going to be able to deal with these emotions and these situations and these feelings, all these things that come up for us, right? And so lastly, if we repeat this process every time we experience that emotional eating episode, it'll eventually become second nature to you to pause, to reflect, to think about your tools that you have, and then choose which tool works for you for that moment. Like I said, sometimes that tool will be food, sometimes it will be movement, sometimes it will be journaling, sometimes it will be, it could be whatever it is that works for you, because everyone has to find what works for them. What works for me necessarily isn't going to work for you, but as we kind of really bring that awareness of just expanding on our feelings with food, our emotions that come up, and expanding our tool belt of things that we can do to cope with those emotions, right? So those were the 5 ways that you can, or like those are the tip for the journaling trick to help you with that emotional eating. that's kind of the one process that I would suggest for you to start with. So let me know if this is helpful. I said a Facebook user. Thanks for the tip. You're welcome. I'm always I love hanging out on here with you guys and bringing just awareness to diet culture and healing our relationships with our food and our bodies. And so I love that. So that's all I had for you guys today. So moving forward, there's a couple different ways that you can continue your journey of learning your food triggers, your emotional eating, all those different things. The first thing to do would be to join my community if you're not already in there. The link is in the description of this video. Secondly, I have a free download for you today in the description of the video as well, and that one is on body positive journaling, which I know we didn't specifically talk about body positivity today, but that is there for you if you choose to have access to it. And then from there, of course, I have my Self-Love Revolution community where we will be talking about this emotional eating in depth today. And so that is the community where we are really stepping into our power with our self-love journeys. We are gaining the confidence to show up for life. We are healing our relationship with our body, our food, and exercise. And we are really just tapping into our bodies and connecting back to them through all these different methods. And so I hope that was helpful. Thank you guys for anybody who tuned in. I saw a couple of you pop in, so thanks for being here. And we will see you guys next time. So have the best day. Take care.